420s. We're gonna talk about flowers. We're gonna talk about all. We're gonna just have a good time today, and I know you're come well equipped either way for the conversation, knowing you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I thought we were gonna talk about Earth Day.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah. I mean, it grows from the earth, so yeah, let's do it.
all right. I'm not very familiar with Earth Day, but I always try to go look at stuff when I don't know what the topic is.
You know what?
And it seemed like Earth Day got started really around January of 1970. There was this senator called Gaylord Nelson from Wisconsin. He was a junior senator, and he kind of had a thing about the environment being deteriorated in the United States. Now, they say that the first issue that really brought Earth Day to the forefront was a major oil spill, I guess, on the coast of California, right outside Santa Barbara. So it must have did a lot of damage. I was 9 years old, so I probably don't recall all the details. But Gaylord Nelson, the senator, being an opportunist, wanted to draw attention to what was going on with the environment. So he coined the phrase Earth Day to get the attention. Well, whether he intended it to or not, Earth Day got the attention of the nationwide news media. And he capitalized off of it by trying to get the same intensity as the people who was protesting the war. The war at that time was the Vietnam War. So he figured if he could get those folk, along with a few religious, to be interested in what's happening with the planet, then maybe they could do something to stop all the pollution. And I am familiar with the fact that for the longest time, we used to drive around with leaded gas. That's what regular was. Regular was leaded gas. Cheap to make, pollute the environment, kill you in a second. But it was cheap. So was the smokestacks from big factories. They used to put all that smoke up in the air. Just messing up the environment, continuous, unfiltered, straight from the manufacturing floor. If you was in California, you called it smog producer. Anywhere else, it was just air pollution.
Now through your research, I don't know if you heard of this. I believe we had someone talk about this before on the show, or maybe this was another conversation I was having with someone about someone came up with like a vegetable oil or some sort of fuel for the car, and he I guess got the same, like, threatened and black. I heard something along those lines of like an alternative source of energy being I guess rumored about in the I want to say like before, in like around 1950s, 1960s. You know anything about that?
I've just kind of skimmed over it. I've been so busy working on mechanical stuff, I just kind of skimmed over it for Earth Day. I'm not going to say I'm that astute, but since they do have a way of using organic waste, we know that today they can use organic waste as a fuel product. So I wouldn't doubt that they was making it back then. Okay, had an alternative to the fuel. But we know how that went. The same way clean energy is going today. All you need is somebody like Trump in office, and clean energy get kicked to the back. So it was just one of those things where the people started caring about the earth. I'm not going to talk too long on it because, like I say, I just kind of skimmed over it, but they was trying to help
And
the planet.
I love hearing you talk about Earth Day, and you know what? The thing I love hearing you talk about more that's from the Earth is your cannabis. And I want to hear, you were talking about earlier, you had some work you were doing. Tell me more about what you got going on right now with your buds.
Oh, well, I unfortunately cannot grow anything right now.
I bet
I'm
you-
still I'm still on parole, waiting on the transcript from my trial so that I can get a new trial where I can reverse the convictions from before. So I'm an advocate that shares knowledge. But as far as me actually getting my hands down in there and raising Mother Nature, I don't do that because they don't need an excuse to put me back in prison.
I feel that. I feel that. Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
Have you thought about advocating for? I mean, you're a, a decent pace for this. I mean, it seems like this has been going on, like dragging on for a bit now.
Well, they've been, let me tell you a little something about how long they've been dragging this. The court thought they had me. Okay. They done railroaded me through the trial. I even, they even went so far as to threaten to put my lady friend, who was my co-defendant, in prison if I went out there and disobeyed any of their instructions. First instruction, don't bring up nothing from the U.S. Constitution. Like I got the right to have an attorney, but they denied me a public defender, so I forced to proceed myself. I can't bring that up. And I can't bring up nothing from the Georgia Constitution. Georgia got a Article 1, paragraph 11, that say in all criminal cases, the jury shall be the judges of the law and the facts. That means the jury can decide to let a person go, even if they violated the law, because they can say the law don't make no sense. But they told me if I brought that up to the jury, they were going to declare a mistrial too. That's what they threatened me with, a mistrial, right? Usually a mistrial is good for the defense. You don't have a prosecutor running around talking about if you piss me off, we going to declare a mistrial.
And let me just be perfectly clear here for everyone who doesn't know. Usually a mistrial happens when something within the jury pool or some otherwise has been compromised. So based on what you're saying here, their view is that you bringing up your basic rights and, the rights the state and the country begets you would compromise things, which says a lot about the situation altogether.
Well, that in them 328 exhibits I filed, that was all government documents, all about cannabis, THC, CBD, the whole plant, as well as the history of the plant, all the way from the Marijuana Tax Act through the Leary versus United States. I even went further back to when it was in the pharmacopoeia, 1850. Oh, it's so much I uncovered and shared with that DA. But DAs are like just about everybody, even advocates don't like to read. And even when I make it where it talk to them, they still ain't got the time to listen, a lot of them. So you can just imagine that the DA didn't want to read, but he knew he was in over his head. So after they told me I couldn't use the United States Constitution, that Sixth Amendment right, and then they told me I couldn't bring up the Georgia Constitution. I don't know why my phone going off, but I'm gonna put it over here and put it in the drawer.
Always
thought I cut it off. But when they told me I couldn't use the Georgia Constitution, which actually say Article 1, paragraph 11, in all criminal cases, the jury shall be the judges of the law and the facts. See, that would make the difference in Georgia between a jury trial and a judge bench trial. See, in a judge bench trial, the judge decides the law and the facts. But in a jury trial, the jury decides the law and the facts. And they didn't want to give it over to the jury. And then to make sure I played ball, they told me, now you go out there and violate anything we just saw. Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to bring up anything that challenged their search warrant. You know, like there wasn't a search warrant affidavit given in discovery, nothing like that. I'm not supposed to bring up that kind of information. If I do bring that up before the jury, they're going to ask for a mistrial, and the judge going to hold me in contempt of court. And while I'm sitting in jail, they're going to go ahead and try my co-defendant, my lady friend, who's 60-some years old at the time. In fact, she was 60 going on 61 at the time, because I was 62 when I was in trial. I wasn't going to let them put that old lady in prison. I even told the jury to find me guilty because they were doing such a piss poor job of convicting me.
So let me ask you something. Did you ever ask, and I'm curious about this too, about
Go ahead.
they put all these stipulations in where your opinion or you're stating these things to the jury would taint things, which again, let's be clear with everyone, that's unconstitutional and immoral. Why didn't they just opt for the bench trial?
Oh, they couldn't go bench trial because all the way I've been requesting a jury trial. The convicted person gets to make the decision on whether it's going to be a bench trial or a jury trial. They didn't want to stretch it too far, and they waited till I was in trial before they brought up those stipulations.
So my next question would be, would it be at all worth running the gambit and seeing who you'd get assigned to for a bench trial and hoping you have someone sympathetic? I mean, given your options right now?
Well, let me just cut to the chase because I think I'm losing you because that question will be answered right here. All right, so after I basically thanked the jury for finding me guilty on when I first started out, I had 4 counts. Then when I went to trial, I had 3 counts. And by the time it was, for the jury to give a verdict, I only had 2 charges. But after thanking them and I went to prison, I had to wait. I knew that what they did was unconstitutional. But excuse my French, being a smart nigga don't help. Sometimes you got to know how to play a dumb nigga. I played dumb. I let them railroad me into prison. Remember, they still got to try my co-defendant. I can't show my intelligence until she's safe. And don't think they won't go after her.
And that right there.
They want to win by any means necessary, and she just a pickaninny. So I had to wait. Even though I got my motion in for a new trial in time, within the 30-day period, I had it in. Well, she filed it for me. I signed it and everything, got it to her before they sent me to prison from the jail. I got everything signed up for. She filed it. So I met the 30-day deadline. After you get sentenced, you got 30 days to put in a motion for a new trial to be heard. And then they have to get you the transcript from the trial. And you got to be able to show where the prosecutor or the court failed to do something they were supposed to have done. Well, they put it off till October. I got convicted on June 30th. I didn't have to go for a hearing until October the 19th of 2022. They still hadn't tried my lady friend. They knew what they were doing. They holding her hostage. That's the kind of stuff I filed in that courtroom. I filed the kind of stuff the federal government don't want to see nobody come in there with. So when I went in there, I gotta play smart. In this case, being smart means being a dumb. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, I'm using the N-word. I gotta be a dumb old nigga. I come in there, got chains on my ankles, got chains on my wrist, got chains around my waist. Like I done killed like 18, 20 people. All I did was brew some cannabis marijuana, and my essence, rather than buried in the ground and wasted, I gave it away to senior citizens with age-related illnesses for free. That's my crime. Because I know the power of the plant. Well, anyway, I set the judge up. I say, Judge. I didn't say it real loud because I'm acting like I'm about to die in any minute. That's the only way they don't feel threatened. I got to be ready to die. Judge, you know, you was right when you said court is for lawyers, attorneys. Well, wait a minute, that ain't how it really went. First, I said, Judge, you know what? You was right. And then I took a pause for effect. And of course, the judge bit. He say, right about what? And I say, you was right when you say court is for lawyers, attorneys. He say, yeah, I told you that, Mr. Johnson. I say, Judge, I want to request representation from the public defender's office to represent me in the filing and preparation of my motion for a new trial. Judge did the same thing he did way back on September the 18th, 2019, when I had my first indictment. He played all concerned. He said, Mr. Johnson, you can't proceed yourself. I say, well, Judge, he said, have you talked to the public defender's office? I said, yeah, Judge, I asked them to represent me, and they said I didn't qualify. Judge looked at him and said, look here, I want y'all to represent Mr. Johnson. And they say, well, Judge, okay. And then they came back later and told the judge, well, Mr. Johnson got title on a house. He can use that house to get about $100,000 in equity. In other words, refinance his home, and he can be able to go get his own attorney. Now, that ain't what the Constitution say I'm supposed to do. Plus the fact, the only reason me and my lady friend, co-defendant, isn't in jail waiting for trial is because that house was the property collateral to get us out. Now, if the judge would have done his job, which I didn't know at that exact moment, I got smarter once I went to prison and went to the prison library. Yeah, you get smarter in prison. If you're looking for an answer, you can find it. And the answer was this. The judge was supposed to have done what they call a financial means test. A financial means test is where you make sure that the defendant can really afford an attorney, not just take the word of the public defender's office. Because if he would have found out there ain't no way I'm going to get no kind of refinance on a house that already got a lien on it by the court until we go to trial. No way. Along with that, equity, hell, I don't even have the 20% equity that most people have when they get a what they call that, but not HUD, but FHA. When most folks get an FHA loan, they're required to put 20% down. But I'm an honorably discharged veteran. So when I bought this house out in the country, I didn't have to put 1 penny down. Veterans get no money down financing. So there again, they done screwed up. But do I say anything right then? No. I'm still playing dumb nig. So again, they come back and they tell the judge, oh no, we're not going to be able to offer our services to Mr. Johnson, even though he in prison, got no income now. We can't help him. Judge said, did you hear what they said, Mr. Johnson? I said, yes, sir. And the road that bus ride all the way down to South Georgia, which is a long ride. But I didn't ride back as unhappy as I was coming up there thinking about what I had to do. So, you know, when you proceed yourself, all orders and stuff, rule 9 side, they come to you. So the judge had to make an order or write of what transpired while I was up there at the hearing on October the 19th. And he put on there in his order, signed by him, that the proceed defendant requested public defender service, but he did not. The public defender office said he didn't qualify. All right. That's one step in the chess game. I got that in writing. Now I'm still waiting on them to make up their mind what they're going to do with my co-defendant. Well, I didn't have to wait too long, just a couple more months. In January, they decided to dead docket my co-defendant. In other words, you don't get in any trouble for the next 2 years. It's like it never happened. You ain't even got to come to trial. Because, see, my co-defendant was able to get a public defender. Crazy. Because both of us on Social Security disability, and she made more money than me. But she qualified for the public defender, but I didn't. Plus the fact I wouldn't take no plea bargain. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to say I'm guilty of doing a crime using a plant that's been treating my medical conditions, and I know it's safe. Well, once they dead docketed her, it was time to put it into phase 2. Phase 2 is to write up what I wanted them to know, mail it to my lady friend so she can type it up, send it back to me so I can sign it in prison, send it back to her so she can file it. And basically all this saying is this. This is what we did. I wrote a letter to my bank and I requested a $30,000 equity loan. I didn't mention this, but October the 19th, they reduced how much I was able to get from 100,000 back in my initial indictment hearing or arraignment to when I'm now on October the 19th for this motion for a new trial here, and the public defender office weaseling out talking about, we believe Mr. Johnson can get $40,000 from that home to go hire him a lawyer. Well, I asked my bank for a home equity, which ain't nothing but a refinance loan. Asked them for a equity loan in the amount of $30,000, $10,000 less than what the public defender office told the judge I should be able to get. I also told Synovus Bank, because that's who I was banking with, I'm in prison. I ain't got no way to pay you back. So you got an idea about how far that damn request for a loan went, right? All right. The results came back denied. They said why it was denied. I had more debt than I had income. That's how they put it in a banking type way. I then had my lady friend to run over here to the county assessment office and get what they say the value of this home is, not what the market says worth, because they always speculate on your house being worth more than what the taxes are. So the taxes only said it's only $80,000. I said, well, do this. Contact my mortgage holder and ask them how much money do I still owe on that mortgage. Seems like I done paid off about $20,000 of the original mortgage. Okay. Still not enough to clear for any type of equity loan that the public defender's office was talking about. I then had her to file a motion that I wrote showing all the reasons why I said the public defender office was in error, with a copy of each one of those documents that I just mentioned, and for her to file it in the clerk office. Well, my rule my side came, it say my next day's hearing from the court is going to be on March 20th, 2023. That day came. I ain't ride the prison bus all the way up to Hartwell, Georgia. Oh, no, no, no. We're going to do this by video like we doing it now. I was the first name the judge called off and asked them, really, he was telling them. He said, I believe we had Mr. Johnson here last time, and I believe he didn't qualify for y'all services. The public defender's office stopped him. Say, Your Honor, in the case of Mr. Johnson, we erred. The worst thing you can say in a court, we erred. He does qualify for our services. Well, I had the warden assistant, Mr. Turner, sitting in there with me, right? And he almost couldn't hold back laughing. That black man almost fell on the floor laughing. So he ain't never seen no shit like that before. Never. So when it was over, I went back to my dorm and waited. The second order from the judge that got sent to me says, the proceed, Mr. Johnson, was at hearing by video, and the public defender office said that he do qualify for their services. Now keep this in mind. I got one order in one hand that say I don't qualify for public defender service, and then I got the other order in this hand saying he do qualify. Somebody done screwed up. Somebody done screwed up big time. Because this ain't open for them to try to weasel through. Judge, both of these orders got your signature on them. That's the smart nigga coming out. Both of them got your signature on them. So, what is it? Well, they lost on that day. March 20th, 2023, they lost against me. They might as well have let me on out of prison and went on and okayed my new trial. Pride go before the fall. They're going to drag me out. Every 6 months from March 20th, 2023, every 6 months, we have another hearing. And every hearing, they're talking about why they don't have my transcript ready. Oh, yeah, let me tell you this. I mean, I done got so used to talking about this that I might skip a few things. You know, they do have me on that medication, big pharma dope, but I done kind of cut down, wean down on that so I can stay a little more focused. Well, when I was a Pro C, oh, they were hard as hell on me. You know it's your responsibility, Mr. Johnson, to get with the court reporter and find out how much it's going to cost you, the Pro C, to pay to get a trial transcript. Oh, they was cutting me like I was ham, baby. Cut, cut, cut. It's your responsibility. But once the public defender office had to admit they erred, suddenly the county got to pay for my transcript. Suddenly the county got to pay for a conflict attorney to come up there and represent me. Because they screwed up and got caught. Caught by a dumb nigga who waited long enough for his friend and co-defendant to get cleared. For those people that say, well, if you were so smart, Mr. Johnson, you telling us about what's going on in all these patents, why didn't you use that smart to get your ass out of prison? Originally, I was facing 50 years in prison. I used my smarts to get rid of 2 of those charges that was worth 30 years. As a Pro C. So, prosecutor don't know what the hell he charged me with. He charged me with statutes. He don't even know what the statute means. I do.
Yeah.
I know. So with all that gone by, all that's gone now, they sentenced me there. Well, they wanted to offer me 20 years probation before they even sent me to prison. If I take that probation, I'm dead. And my lady friend, she gonna basically be dead too. You can't fight if you take first offender. You take first offender, you gotta admit guilt. To them, they don't give a damn what you come up with later because it's over. Everybody want to fight till somebody say they gotta go to prison. I told the judge, look, I ain't doing no 20-year probation. You might as well send me on to prison. Even if it means I die in prison, you can send me to prison. I'm not going to denounce that plant. I'm not going to admit I did anything that was a crime. And they didn't have no problem. Judge sentenced me, say, this is what we going to do, Mr. Johnson. I thought you were just giving me 10 years for all of it, and I do 5 in prison. Nah, I saw what his decision was after I was in court, meaning prison. He giving me 10 years on manufacturing of marijuana by growing it. 5 years to be served in prison. On the possession with intent to distribute by giving away my excess to senior citizens for free, which is still distribution. They're giving me 10 years, but that's going to be probation, 10 years. With each one of those charges to run consecutively. They're not running concurrently, they're going to run consecutively. So I go to prison for the 5 years. But Georgia give out so much probation and parole. Well, not parole, but they give out so much time that in Georgia, especially if it's a non-violent crime, you only have to do 1/3 of the prison sentence and you qualify for parole. Don't mean you're going to get parole. A lot of things can go wrong in prison to keep you from getting a parole. Like you had to kill somebody. Or you tested positive for using drugs, including marijuana, while you in prison. And yes, there's plenty of dope and drugs and Mother Nature cannabis in prison. Every drug you want. Hell, you can even get pussy from the prison guard ladies if you got enough money. Put some of that in her doggone cash app. Take you somewhere and get your ass off. And don't believe they don't do it. Oh, they wouldn't do that. They correction officers. They correct their ass right over there and spend your money. That's exactly what they'll do. But anyway, keeping it moving. In September, when I was supposed to go back for my motion here, and it's still in 2023, I'm there, got a warden assistant colonel, he there with me. Judge done forgot what he done signed. Judge come on there, and he got us muted, so they can't even hear me. It's like earlier with y'all, you couldn't hear me. Judge can't even hear me. I thought it was by accident, but it's always that way when I go video, so I knew it wasn't an accident. They do that on purpose. Judge, I'm like, yeah, in the case of Mr. Jones, I think we found that he didn't qualify for public defender service. And I'm going crazy. Hey, Judge, even if he can't hear me, look, your order right here say I do qualify. I'm going crazy. Man, what the hell are you talking about? So when the judge finally talked to me, I say, Judge, wait a minute. You just made a mistake. You just said that I don't qualify. But at the last hearing on March 20th, the public defender's office said they aired and they was getting me the trial transcript and a conflict attorney. Judge asked, had anybody been assigned to my case? I said, Judge, I know who been assigned to the case. I know my conflict attorney's name. And I gave him my conflict attorney's name. The judge then asked his little old crooked crony clerk, you got anybody in there for Mr. Johnson? And the clerk was like, yeah. And he told the judge the exact same name I told the judge. Judge tried to play it off like, well, how I supposed to know if y'all don't show me nothing? See, it's getting to him now. Because this ain't any judge. This is the chief judge for the whole Northeast Division of Georgia. He's over all these other judges. He the man. And I done caught him in something really screwed up. Anyway, they put it off till December because they say the court reporter, she still ain't had time to get my transcript paid, and you can't motion for a new trial till you get the transcript, Mr. John. So I got to stay in prison. Here comes December. December come along, she still ain't got the transcript made. So now they putting it off to January. But y'all don't. Anyway, I'm eligible for parole, and the Georgia Department of Pardon and Parole say, Mr. Jones, you ain't been in no trouble. You ain't been fighting. You ain't been using no drugs. They done drug tested you. You ain't got no marijuana in your system. They let me out on February the 28th. It was a leap year. There's still one more day left in February. This 2024. So I got on out. Oh, yeah. Then it come time for me to go to court again in June. Again, they do the same stuff. This court reporter lady still ain't had time to make it. She's so backlogged from COVID and all that shit. Boy, they throw that COVID shit up big time. Anyway, I'm out now. I parole.
It's sobering, your story.
Anything to keep you in there longer, right? Anything.
It's sobering to hear the trial you went through, and it's a number of different other things. I won't go into like the long list that you exhibit in your dedication, not just to saying I'm not going to admit fault to something I don't believe is wrong, but keeping another person ahead of your mind in this whole process every step of the way so meticulously. in consideration for their well-being. I
It
don't
was
think
my
that
fault.
can
It
go
was my fault. It was my fault she got involved. I wasn't growing just any old cannabis. I'm growing some of the best cannabis, using some of the best methods ever known to man, and then creating some methods. I still got the knowledge. I know what big pharma do with their drugs. I know I gotta grow a superior natural plant to compete. My stuff wasn't no baby shit. My
on.
plant was some beast.
No, it's not. Every time I talk to you, I believe that more and more. How everyone asks me when we bring you up, and I always describe you as, because you talk about how much you'd research this throughout the years at your computer and whatnot. I always say, like, imagine that guy in the early 2000s. You'd go to their house and they'd be glued to their computer most of the time doing research on all ends of stuff, and then he's doing right now the product of all that research. You are. Everyone, take a good look right now. Don't look to the broadcasters for men. Don't look to the end of them at all. This right here is a real man right here, a self-made man, a man who puts other people before himself, a man who has patience, dedication, and sticks to his, excuse my French, fucking guns. He sticks to his guns, man. You have my respect and admiration. You're an incredible man, Nathan. And
You want to hear what happened to the judge?
let's hear it.
Here's a judge who's at the top of his game. He's the chief justice. He's ruling shit. He playing God. But a few days after I got out on parole, he told the people in 2024 in March, he's suddenly finna retire. I'm gonna retire at the end of the year. You gonna retire? When the hell has a judge ever wanted to retire? You can't get them old bastards out of the Supreme Court for nothing in the world. They either die in that damn position or you gotta force them the hell out of that position. Judges don't give it up. You walking around just as normal, still got black hair in your head. Why the hell are you volunteering your ass out of here? Not only did he leave at the end of the year, took that crooked ass court reporter with him. That's how bad they got caught up. They both retired. We getting the hell out of here. We gone. Homie got up. Well, we can't even explain this shit right.
They saw the legal blood on their hands and they ran away. And yeah, they're cowards. You know, it's. I mean, you faced the law doing something you didn't believe was wrong. We all don't believe was wrong, and you faced the process. They tucked their tails and ran. You know that at the end of the day, you know, if anything, you can hold yourself to that contrast right there. That's telling enough. Telling enough.
So to ask me, how's my growing going? I have to say, the last judge I saw, which is a different judge now, I saw him on March the 4th of 2025. Hell, I didn't even know my old judge and court reporter retired because they were there on November the 5th of 2024. I saw them in the courtroom. Same old bullshit, they ain't got my trial transcript ready yet. But by March, word is they gone. I asked a Baylor, I said, Baylor, where in the world is the judge? Oh, he retired. Him and the court reporter. You got a new judge now. A new judge. The new judge told my conflict attorney about 120 days or less, but give us at least 120 days to get his trial transcript ready.
Yeah, the farther you go in this, the further the voice goes in my head that says, right to a speedy trial, right to a speedy trial, right to a speedy trial.
Well, they got rid of all of that talking that COVID shit. You know, they see, I got arrested February 13th, 2019. But I didn't get no speedy trial because COVID ass came along. And they used that as an excuse, you know, they shut down the courts and everything.
It's the first virus to not only affect human beings but bureaucratic systems. It eliminated the speedy trial process. It was one of the great fatalities of COVID. No one talks about.
Yeah, that's it. Luckily, I was able to wait it out in my house. Some folks had to wait it out in jail. You know, the one that couldn't post bond, I had a $40,000 bond on me. My lady friend had a $40,000 bond on. That's $80,000 right there. If I didn't have that property, we'd still been in prison. Waiting it out through COVID. But what we exposed was this. There's a lot of people up here in the north part of Georgia, northeast Georgia, black and white, that have been screwed by this judicial system, denying them public defenders. Talking about they own some property somewhere, they ought to be able to get some money for a lawyer. Then stacked all these charges on where they looking at 10 million years, knowing that the person feel overwhelmed, they gonna take a plea bargain. Didn't work here. I ain't taking no damn plea. Well, Mr. Johnson, we playing for keeps. I ain't taking no plea bargain. That's how they clear their court calendar. They take and tell you that you don't even qualify for a public defender. Now, a public pretender? What you mean people don't qualify for a public defender? That's low. Especially when the people you talking to like me, I'm on Social Security disability. Everybody know I ain't making no money. Even the Georgia Court of Appeals knew I wasn't making no money and let me do my appeal filing for free back in 2020 when I said something's up. I put in a motion to challenge the constitutionality with constitutional questions as to why cannabis marijuana is on Georgia Controlled Substances Act, which I was opposed to been allowed to do. I was opposed to been allowed to challenge it before a jury. But anyway, if the Court of Appeals of Georgia say I'm broke enough to where I can do a proper affidavit and not have to pay the filing fee, who in the hell is Northeast Georgia to say, oh, you don't qualify for a public defender? Yeah, I came from down in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm from Atlanta. I'm a city boy. I've been educated in some of the nicest schools in Atlanta, including Georgia Institute of Technology, Georgia Tech, the Atlanta University Center. I've been there too. I got so much education in my mind. In fact, my student loan amount before I got it dropped due to permanent disability was $250,000. Ain't no way in hell I was ever gonna pay that off. But since I'm permanent disabled, gonna be 65 this year, the federal government squashed that debt of $254,000. $254,000. Let me make sure I got that right. My education was expensive, whether I got the lamb skin or not. Can't take out of my mind what I done learned. Education is power. Whether you got that lamb skin to go with it or not. So right now, I wait. And the state is waiting too, because they hope I drop dead. The state is praying that I drop dead. I still got those medical conditions, deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary emboli. They still threatening my life. I keep making new videos for the cannabis advocates on my page and other pages so that the Lord know that I'm not just sitting around being idle. I'm working. And if I can help anybody to be a little bit more intelligent on what the hell is going on with cannabis, I'm doing what I can. And just to show, as they get me the trial transcript, as I was talking to my conflict attorney, I say, the fact I even got you, conflict attorney, proved they violated my Sixth Amendment right. You see, I told you about I went to the Court of Appeals. That's because the DA, when he realized I wasn't going to take no plea bargain, he wanted to do a superseding indictment. And for the longest, I was trying to figure out why the hell you want to do a superseding indictment, especially when you're not adding any charges, you're not adding any witnesses. Why you got to go back to a grand jury? I never understood that. That's why I had to contact the Court of Appeals, because I felt like something was up. I was in prison when I found out what was up. And this what was up. On September the 18th, 2019, I had my first indictment. That's where me and the judge went through that thing with the public defender's office about me not qualifying because I got some property. Well, after the judge heard the public defender's office say I didn't qualify, the judge agreed to let me be pro se. He had to give me what they call a Faretta hearing. That's where you tell the person that it's not suggested that you do a pro se, because you will be held to the same standard as a lawyer in court. So think about the consequences of doing it. Now, the Faretta hearing is really designed for smart alecky defendants. The one that don't want the damn public defender. You know, I don't want you, public defender. I'm going to represent myself. But that wasn't the case with me. I asked for public defenders and they told me no. So yeah, I'm representing myself because I'm forced to. I ain't got no money for no damn lawyer on a criminal case like this. You know how much money that costs? Shit, I can barely see up on a Social Security disability check. Anyway, they were afraid. The court already knew they done screwed up. They was afraid that if I went all the way through with this jury trial, then they were going to have to submit the initial arraignment where I asked for a public defender and was denied on some bullshit that they've been lying to black and white folks out here forever on to make them plea bargain. And that wasn't going to look good. So by doing a superseding indictment, and this is what he did, the DA called for a superseding indictment to drop one of my charges. To drop one charge. You don't have to go back to a grand jury to drop a charge. You just drop it. But he wanted to go back to a grand jury, so I have to do another indictment or arraignment. When I went to the second arraignment, the same judge asked me, I stood up. The judge said, you still proceed yourself, huh, Ms. Johnson? I'm like, yeah. He said, you remember what I told you? Said, yeah, you said something about if I get found guilty, I can't appeal. He was like, that's good, that's good. And he was ready to move on. But I know now, even that wasn't enough to cover their ass. They would have had to done a Ferretta hearing all over again. He was supposed to ask me again, have you talked to the public defender's office? Failure to have that Ferretta hearing information in that trial transcript will go against the trial court. A silent trial transcript of a Ferretta hearing is not construed to be in favor of the trial judge. It's against the trial judge. It's either there or it's not. And the only place they can find it is my initial arraignment. But to show that he did a Ferretta hearing then, they got to show I asked for a public defender and was denied. Catch-22, they fucked. Unless they can somehow get me to take a plea after sentencing. 20-year probation, Mr. Johnson. We do your first offender. It'll be like it never happened. You can still vote. You got all your citizenship rights. They wasn't trying to help me. They was trying to help themselves. When I didn't take the bait, they had to hurry up and get me to prison and hope I couldn't get access to anything in which I could file any kind of motion before the 30 days was up. Because if I don't get that motion filed within 30 days, it's over. It's a wrap. Some kind of way they beating themselves in the head. How in the hell did he get that motion in 16 days? Ain't no paper inside prison. Ain't no typewriter. How did he get that done? When the Lord knows you battling on the right side, the Lord make ways for you. People come into your life you never knew was there. Organizations show up you never knew was there. And I don't mind giving a little prop to Robert Carty. He was out there, director of Peachtree Normal. They got me a motion for a new trial, already typed out while I was in jail, the photo bus ride to the prison. I signed it and mailed it to my lady friend, the co-defendant, so she could file it. And it was on the day that I sent it off to her that they was putting me on the bus when I was sending it off. And I was praying that they did send it off. So now, yeah, I want to grow. I want to grow, but I don't want to be like half the folks I got on my Facebook page. See, like everybody that learned how to grow a cannabis bud successfully, all of a sudden want to be the plug for the whole United States. Every time I get something new, they come to my messenger. Hey, bro, you want me to hook you up with some flowers? Want to sell me some flowers? What the fuck I look like buying from you? Do you know your ass from your elbow when you come to messing with the plant? Oh man, look at my flowers. Look, I make pictures of them. So fucking what? I don't know how you grew them things. Yeah, they look pretty. I'll put a loving heart on it because I respect the plant itself, but I don't know what the hell you fed it. I don't know what the hell you did to it. My plants were medicine. I don't know what yours is. And if you out here trying to make money, I know what it ain't. It ain't been loved. You don't sell that what's been loved because you can't put a price on it.
You have amazing cannabis tips. the stuff that stuck with me, with the lighting and the different washings and it was just mind blowing. And the monster clones.
Did you ever look up monster clones?
Yeah. I talk about it with people, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. That's the only way I clone. I go in there and I chop me off a flower branch, a branch that got a little flower on it. I chop a bunch of them off, drop them in a bucket of water so they don't get no embolism in their little stem, right? You do know about embolism getting in the stem when you make a cutting, right?
Yeah, what's that about?
When you take a pair of sharp scissors and you make a diagonal cut on a branch, you have just exposed the inner hole of that stem to air. If you don't hurry up and get that in some water, you get an air embolism, and then you can try all you want to clone her. She'll never be able to suck it up because now there's an air bubble in it. It's sort of like a straw that get an air bubble in it. You know, as long as it's continuous liquid, it don't take much effort at all to suck it up because it's all liquid. You suck up some liquid, more liquid comes up. That's how a plant does this respiration, how it does this nutrient withdrawal from the ground. It sucks up, more comes up. But if there's an air bubble, it interrupts the suction. That's why they call it embolism. So as soon as you cut that little old flower that's going to be turned into a monster clone, you throw her ass in some water. And I used to have a bucket. I put about 20 of them in a damn bucket. Submerge their ass under the water. Make sure ain't no embolism in there. And then revert her back to veg state. I didn't put no, I see these folk with these little old plastic domes all over their plants and shit. Oh, I got to keep the humidity in. Sometimes I would cut the leaves because that's what they had said at first. After a while, I stopped even cutting the leaves back. Now they say you cut the leaves, you got to focus more on roots. If you keep our ass foliar fed, you ain't got to worry about that. Foliar feed your clones while they trying to grow roots. They going to take it in through the leaves. They going to get the nourishment without a root so they can grow a root. I used to have almost 100% success with monster clones. Just understanding the principle that the plant can eat from both ends. It can eat from the root or it can eat from the leaves. Now you sit there and just spray some water on her ass. Okay, you do that. And you're going to have that plastic dome on the top of sweating up, getting all humid and shit. And you still subject to lose some. And then all you're going to get is some regular clones. Because most times people don't want to screw with monster clones. Because you do a monster clone wrong, they die quick. Reverting back to veg is not an easy task. Hard. It's like going from an adult back to a baby. It even sounds hard, if not impossible. But like I told you before, once you veg her back up, though, she's still as old as the plant that you got in your bloom room. Even if that plant is in your bloom room, already got big ass colas on it, that little clone that you just made, that you reverted back to grow, is the same age. So when you put her in the bloom room, she's gonna go crazy. And when I say crazy, she gonna shoot branches out of everywhere. Not your regular this way, that way, not your 2 branches that come up when you do a topping, not the 4 branches that come up when you do a film, fuck it, I miss technique. None of that. She finna shoot branches out of every part of her body. Shit, it ain't nothing to see 100 and some branches come off of a monster clone. And at the end of every branch is a cola bud. You want to up your yield, learn how to fucking make monster clones. They say every 3 foot by 3 foot space, depending on the strain and the conditions, you should get a pound. Yeah, most times they talking about a wet pound. If it's a plant that got very high THC, you ain't gonna get much yield. You're gonna get some nice sized buds though. You're gonna get some good trichomes. But you ain't gonna get much yield. It's a trade-off. The stronger the plant get, the less yield you get. That's why you can go out here. They had a plant back when I was growing. They used to call it Big Bud. Big Bud get huge as hell, but it's only 16% THC. So yeah, if you in the market to just sell some weed, grow Big Bud. You have plenty of cannabis to sell. It ain't but 16% though. You start talking anything over 26%, upwards of 30-something%, you're going to get less yield. It's a trade-off. Any other questions? I can sit here and just run my damn mouth. Direct me. Give me a question.
I liked when you had the wash, when you washed the buds. I never heard about that. And you washed them under a green light, which...
I harvest them under green light.
Sorry, you harvest under.
See, I'm gonna tell you why I did it under green light, and I'm gonna tell you why I have this problem with dispensaries that want to sit the buds out there in a see-through jar with lights on all day. And then they got to keep the temperature nice and comfortable for the customer. There's two things cannabinoids do not like. Cannabinoids do not like oxygen or air. They do not like light. And they do not like heat. Those three things will make them start degrading in the cannabinol. That's right. They stop being tetrahydrocannabinol and start turning into cannabinol. I don't give a damn what that play card say that's next to them. It may very well have been that amount of THC back at the lab, but y'all done sat this shit out here in open exposure. Exposed to light so humans can walk by and look at it and gawk and say, oh, look how pretty it looks. My plants were harvested. They stayed in the dark. In jars, in the dark, in the coolest spots I could find for them. Out here now they got that freeze-dried method, but them damn freeze-dried cost a grip. But if you ain't got freeze-dried money, put them in a box. Make the box dark, put the box somewhere where it's cold.
Who's got freeze dryer money?
Huh?
Who's got freeze dryer money? How much is a freeze dryer?
Shit, I saw freeze dryer running the cheapest one, and this been years ago.
$3,000,
like $7,000 and shit, and it was a small. It was a very small one for $7,000. Then they got some a little bigger, but you start getting a little bigger, you better have bigger cash. I wouldn't even try to buy one right now during this trade war. Shit, if you could find one, it's gonna cost you a grip.
How is the trade war going to affect the cannabis community?
Well, when you think that a lot of those LED lights, and LED makes for a higher quality plant than HID lights, that's high intensity discharge light versus light emitting diodes. Light emitting diodes will allow you to go ahead and set the precision in your grow room. Your grow room is not as sensitive as your bloom room. You can get away with a lot of bullshit in a grow room. I had one room set up for grow, and I had another room. I'm saying room, not tents. I have another room set up for bloom. Well, heat is the enemy of trichomes, especially when they're growing. So you got to have stuff like air conditioning too, that you can keep it chilly in there when the lights go out. Make it cold. Now, this going to me harvesting under green lights. We just said that trichomes start degrading as soon as they're exposed to light, heat, and oxygen. Well, you can't get around the oxygen because, damn it, you wouldn't be able to breathe in the room if we got away from oxygen. But you go in there, it's dark as hell. Dark means you can put your hand in front of your face and you can't even see your own hand. You put a green LED. The wavelength in nanometers for green light is a color that the plant can't see. Plants cannot see green. They respond to red lights, blue lights, but not green lights. So as far as that plant concerned, under green light, there is no light. It's still pitch black in there. You harvest under green lights. That's when you chop in your branches or whatever, however you want to do it. Now, here's a time when they will come in contact with some light for a minute, and that's during the wash. And for people that look crazy when you say wash, yeah, I said wash. You have to wash your plants. You wouldn't go out there and pick no damn collard greens or beans or nothing else and just take it in your house and cook it. You're going to wash that shit off. Cannabis ain't no different. I know all of y'all scared you're going to get your plant bud rot. Half of you don't know what you're doing anyway. Look when you do get a bud. So you already nervous, and I ain't mad at you. Everybody been there. That keep growing. But there's certain things you can do to your water as preparation. There's the 4 bucket deal. First bucket, all these buckets gonna be filled. Huh? Say what?
We're losing.
You losing me on the volume or what? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm losing. Keep going.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah, I hear
You
you.
ain't answer. You do hear me?
Oh, you can't hear me now? Uh-oh.
I hear you. I hear you.
Hold on. Yeah, you were just breaking up a little bit.
All right. Well, I'll speak a little more assertively towards the computer. You want to put something in that water that's going to help. When I say the 4 bucket method, it's not a method I created. I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't. I didn't create it. I researched it. Now, what do you do with the 4 buckets? You take 4 5-gallon buckets. You fill them all up with water. Hopefully room temperature. Let me know if you can't hear me.
You're good.
You fill it up with room temperature water. I try to fill them up to the very lip of the 5-gallon bucket. I put them over there in the bathtub. So when I go to working and the water come out of the bucket, some of it, it's going to go down the drain, so I ain't worried about it. You need yourself some hydrogen peroxide for the first bucket. Hydrogen peroxide. No, not that stuff that you get from Walmart in a little brown container. That's 3% hydrogen peroxide with a whole lot of stabilizer. That stabilizer is man-made and it's poisonous. You do not want to be putting a lot of that on your plants. I mean, I know you can goggle with the hydrogen peroxide from Walmart, but they're not telling you to swallow the shit though. They say goggle and spit it out. They don't say drink it. Well, you're going to consume these plants. So what you want is hydrogen peroxide, 35% food grade. That's the highest you can get without being an industrial factory. The highest level of food grade hydrogen peroxide you can get is 35% by law. You put, I'm not going to tell you how much. That's something you're going to find out for yourself. The fact I'm even telling you about this, which is one little thing that I do, is because I care. But if I tell you everything, you don't respect it. You're going to kill, well, you ain't going to kill nothing because everything already dead. You done chopped the branch. You harvested. But you'll learn what works best. You put a certain amount. Remember now, it's 35% hydrogen peroxide. You better put some gloves on. It'll burn you. And when I say gloves, I'm talking about those rubber chemical gloves. If you let that shit touch your skin, it will burn. And if you want to know what hurts, a chemical burn hurts. It ain't like a blister or something like that. Oh, no. A chemical burn, you can wash it, you can do whatever you want, and it will still hurt. You only got to burn yourself one time to know you don't never want to do that again. Well, you dip in there and you get up, you keep her underwater for a while. All you just added is a lot of oxygen to your water in the first bucket, as well as oxygen exists in O2. Every chemist knows that O stands for oxygen, but in nature, oxygen wants to be coupled together with another oxygen. It's a gas. It's one of the noble gases. It floats around as an O2 molecule. Well, per means one. So when you got hydrogen peroxide, you got an H and an O combination. It's looking for another O to make H2O, which is what? Water. See? Even when you add 35% hydrogen peroxide, the worst thing you are creating in that bucket is water. So where is it going to get that other O from? Any living organism. Whether it be a bacteria, a fungi, or whatever. It's looking for the other oxygen. They want to take it from it. And in the process of taking it from that living organism, it burns that organism. Oxygen, whether y'all know it or not, oxygen really don't burn. What oxygen does is it causes everything around that oxygen to burn. So when you see folks say, oh, don't be careful with your fire when you come in this oxygen tank because it's going to blow up because it's oxygen. The oxygen ain't going to blow up. Everything else is. Yeah, that's right. Oxygen really don't burn. It just make everything around it burn. Well, that just killed a lot of organisms that you needed to get rid of while washing some of the dirt and grime off your plant. But you still got another bucket to go to. When you go to that bucket, you want to use some of that Arm & Hammer. I'm going to even give you the brand name. You want some Arm & Hammer baking soda. And for a good acid, I tell folks, why don't you go on and get you some of that real lemon concentrate. You say real lemon concentrate? Yeah, fuck vinegar. Get you some real lemon concentrate. They both acids. I ain't gonna tell you how much to mix in there with your Arm & Hammer baking soda. But now you done made a whole lot of carbon dioxide in that second bucket. You're going to dip that branch that you just took out of the doggone oxygen bucket with hydrogen peroxide, and you finna dip it now in the second bucket. Whatever organism survive that oxygen bath is going to catch hell in the carbon dioxide bath. Remember, organisms either survive in oxygen or they survive with the absence of oxygen, which is carbon dioxide environment. Likewise, that which oxygen will kill is opposite of that which carbon dioxide will kill. So when you dip that branch in there, whatever survived the first bucket is finna pay the cost. As well as you still rinsing any grease, grime, or anything else that got on your plant leaf from the air. If you're a cigarette smoker or somebody in your family is, you got dogs, you got cats with a dandruff and they hair shedding and all kind of shit, got birds or whatever thing, got little baby kids and stuff. You'd be surprised how much shit can float around in the air and land on your plants. I know you got it in a tent. If that tent get oxygen, you got stuff landing on your plant. If they get air, you gonna get something that's gonna land on your plant. So that's the second wash. I ain't gonna tell you how long to keep it in that second bucket. Now the third bucket is a rinse bucket. You don't put nothing in that. You just put that bud, that cola on that branch just went through some things. You finna deactivate. You dipping it in the rinse bucket. I ain't telling you how long to keep it in there, but when you pull it out, you're going to put it in a fourth bucket, which is another rinse bucket. Why are we rinsing? Because we got to get this shit off of there. That includes all the dead remains or whatever we just killed. You want to be safe with your plant because you're growing medicine, but you don't know what the hell you're doing. All you're doing, if you're just cutting the damn plant, hanging it up to dry, or throwing it on a fucking rack, you ain't no better than, oh, shit. That's right. I said it. You got to doctor these babies. You got to get them ready for human consumption. Bad enough people out here growing in the ground got no control over the heavy metals. But you can have control over the bacteria and fungi and viruses and parasites and anything else that's floating in the air. You can have some control over that. Now you done rinsed her twice. She ready to be hung up on the clothesline, baby. Hang up. Hang up by that branch, that part you cut. Get your clothes hang up, son. Hang up. You need a fan. You need a clean fan. Don't bring no fan in there and it got all kind of lint and shit on the blade. Get your ass somewhere. Break that fan down. Clean that fan. Get every piece of trash that's on them blades off. Then take it in there. And it's best if it's one of those that turn, kind of turn. Because what that do is it keep air blowing on her while she's wet. And while she's wet, well, you thinking, oh, I hope she don't catch something. She ain't finna catch nothing. It's going to blow it off. You done killed everything that could have became something. Shit, they already dead. All she doing now is drying up. There's a certain number of days I let them hang before I go pop that damn branch. And boy, do it pop. But you don't want it too dry. You need you some humidifier. You need some humidity readers. Like they use when you raise lizards and snakes. They had them little humidity gauges. Buy you some of them. They used to be cheap. I don't know how much they cost now. Every last one of my jars had a humidity gauge in it. And the ideal temperature you want to keep it, or humidity you want to keep it between, is like 52 and 62. Relative humidity. That way, it's got a little sponge give to it, so when you press it and let go, it'll come back. but it ain't so moist that you can still crumble it up. Now I tell you what, you put it in a grinder, you gonna catch hell. A good bud, you put it in a grinder, you gonna be in there trying to clean that damn grinder out for a minute, cause she's sticking. She got sticky, icky everywhere, and she gives. If you make her too dry, you go to crush it, you turn into dirt. Yeah, you can put dirt in a grinder. But then who in the hell won't smoke it? So it's easier just to chop it. What do you think the saying come? Let's chop it up. It didn't say let's grind it up. It said let's chop it up. You cut good. Get your pair of them trimming scissors. You can chop up in good little pieces. Then put in your pipe, your rolling paper, your blunt wrap. They even make blunt wraps that are made out of hemp paper. So you don't have to put them on tobacco leaf paper no more. I had all that shit when they come busting in my damn house. My house looked like a little dispensary. So I'm giving mine. People can't afford to buy my. If they were to try to buy my shit, it would cost them so much money they be insulted. Truly. I'd rather give it away than insult people. Because I'm going to throw it away anyway. I can't smoke it all. I can't eat it all. I told you I got monster clones. These things are giving me so much yield. I'm having to bury it out there in my garden, in my backyard, with my tomatoes and my string beans and my watermelons and my strawberries, and you get the idea. All my branches and fan leaves and everything get buried in the ground out there so it can decompose. And after every harvest, I grow hydroponically, deep water culture. Not recirculatory deep water culture, deep water culture, where you got to go to each bucket individually. I ain't playing that one plant get some shit, all of them get the shit. Oh, no. Yeah, it's extra work. It's better to lose one than it is to lose all of them. But yeah, if you put your leftovers in a trash can, you're asking to get busted. Dairy. That's your stalk, stem, leaves, fan leaves. The only leaves I didn't get rid of was the trim leaves. I used them to make edibles. That's right. I smoke my buds. Every blue moon, I might throw some buds in there and make some counter butter with it. But I made my counter butter out of trim leaves. They covered in trichome. Plus, I need some of that flavonoid. You got canaflavor A, you got canaflavor B, you got canaflavor C. All of them good and healthy. That's what makes your butter turn green. Yeah, that's your flavonoid. For the longest, I used to think flavonoid meant that they help with the flavor. Nah, they help with the color. It's because of flavonoids your plant turns red, pinks, yellow, whatever, green. They control that. Terpenes is what control taste and smell. Flavonoids control the color. But it's a strange thing, though, because it got flavo-like flavor. I'm like, man, they just be... Chemists like messing with people. Botanists or whatever. They just like messing with people's minds. Can y'all still hear me? Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me? Uh-oh. I'm going to shut up then. I don't know if y'all can still hear me.
Yeah, we hear you.
Did you hear me talk about flavonoids and terpenes?
Yes, we heard everything. I just couldn't get to my mute button. I had to mute myself because it's loud in here, so I have to mute myself.
Okay. I just didn't want to be talking and
no, you go because you're good, man. We don't. I can't even interrupt you.
All right,
Jim, you want to interrupt him? You have anything to tell him?
Well,
No, grab that microphone. Right.
And,
Okay, you're
and
good. All
something
right, no,
else,
go ahead. I'm
something else.
sorry.
Okay, something else for you, growers. I know you don't want to hear nothing from me. Some people don't want to hear nothing from me. They think I'm a DEI or whatever the fuck that is. Ain't nobody ever gave me shit. Walk around talking about didn't earn it. Shit. Nobody ever gave me anything for free. Not even knowledge. You pay for knowledge. I'm giving it to you though for free. And when you go to trim your plants, you know you got them hanging on a clothesline, right? I hope you got that clothesline in the dark. I just said you're gonna hang it for several days. I hope you got it in darkness. I hope you got it in a cool place in your wherever. You can't get away from the air, so you got to deal with oxygen for a little while. But if you can keep it cold and dark, you're going to preserve more of your cannabinoids. That's your THC and your CBD. Because even CBD going to break down and degrade into cannabinol. They all do eventually. So if you keep it right, only trim a little at a time. And when you're trimming, keep the trim jar that you put in the bud in the dark. Put a pillow over it or something while you're trimming. Only bring it in the light long enough to open the lid and throw another bud or two in there that you done trimmed up in your trim bin. Throw it in there and put it back in darkness. You want something that's going to hit so hard, country ass, hillbilly ass, police talking about you got that real deal.
We're smoking trim right now. We're gonna roll up.
I had fucker from the talking about he worked with the DA, talking about it's the strongest shit he ever done come across. Yeah, you was with the DA, my ass. Oh yeah, I was with the DA and I ain't never come across nothing as strong as this stuff. But just smelling this shit make you high. How you treat it? You love it, or you just want to make money? If you want to make money, disregard everything I just fucking said. That's right. I ain't out here trying to promote the black market. I ain't trying to promote none of these damn dispensaries either. I could give a damn about these dispensaries. It's because of them we're catching hell handing flower in our states. They just want to be able to sell something. Yeah, damn. What would happen if we just said, fuck it, we're going to boycott all the damn dispensaries? The shit ain't selling. They ain't buying no licenses. State, what you gonna do? We don't want no gummy bears. We don't want no capsule. We want flowers. Flowers are nothing, motherfucker. But see, when you know people who make their money off of being a dispensary, you know, it's always a mom and pop who don't put everything they got in it. And we like, oh, we don't want them to go bankrupt. But it's them. I'm not saying they doing it on purpose, but it's them trying to survive that the legislators are counting on. But I'm going to tell you, very few advocates go up to the Capitol to see what kind of legislation is being passed. Those dispensary folk, though, they'll go up there. Goddamn right. Ain't no black market motherfucker going up there. They don't give a fuck. They just grew some shit. And as far as they're concerned, you want it, we'll send it to you. Just send me some money. I'll send you a tracking number or something, and here, enjoy. And I hope it don't kill you. But who's at the Capitol where the legislators are? Dispensary owners. So when the legislators say you can't have flowers, you can have gummies and you can have capsules, dispensary owners say that's better than nothing. When the legislators say we gonna give the doggone beverages with THC in them to the alcohol industry. The dispensary get a little upset. Well, at least we can still sell capsules and gummies. The people that really need the flower, the whole flower is going, what in the fuck is going on? All these folks say they advocating for us, and we ain't getting shit. We going backwards. Going backwards. Because nobody's ready to stand up and say, we'll boycott this shit. And then if we got to, we'll just deal with the black market. Take our chances like we've been doing forever before they start talking about they were going to help the sick people. We take our chances. Fuck going to a dispensary. I'm sorry. I got a lot of friends that run dispensary, but this is a war. I need the plant. I need the whole plant. I'm sorry, you in the crossfire. I'm sorry. Boycott them motherfuckers. We ain't buying shit.
Except Mad Hatter. All except Mad Hatter, 845 Route 1 Avenue.
See what I'm talking about? There's always somebody we like gonna get caught up in this shit. But the truth is, how else do we let the legislators know we tired of their bullshit?
We need to get these small dispensaries on our side so they can help us fight, and they do.
What the hell they gonna do? They ain't got enough money. The big dispensaries already done put money in the legislators' pockets. Small dispensary, they one week away from being bankrupt. They ain't got no money. That's why they turn to advocates to talk for them. Legislators ain't trying to keep mom and pop businesses working. They turn to the big money. So big money can rebound because big money is telling the legislators what they want to get rid of mom and pop shops. We want to get rid of them flowers. We want capsules. Half of them can't make no capsules. They might know a friend somewhere that can help them with a gummy bear or something, but that's about it. We don't want that shit in the damn beverages either. They selling that shit out of dispensary. Beverage, what they actually say, no, we don't want that. Big Pharma, we be talking about Big Pharma. You better start worrying about big marijuana. That's who's helping these motherfuckers. It ain't hard to see. Open your eyes. Who never complains? We see mom and pop and they dispensaries up there at the Capitol all the damn time. Crying. Big dispensary don't even show up. They're like, fuck that shit. Whatever happens, we gonna make money. It's like we can't go after the billionaires because a few mom and pop shops might get hurt. We're in a hell of a position. I was watching this movie the other day called Apocalypse Now. It had Charlie Sheen and he had to go up the Delta, what is it, Nikon Delta, some shit, go kill this Colonel Kurtz. And Colonel Kurtz was being played by Marlon Brando. I don't know if y'all ever seen this movie, Apocalypse Now. But when he got up there, Kurtz told him something. Because he knew Charlie Sheen was there to kill him. So he told him a story. He say, this is Colonel Kurt, Marlon Brando, when I say he told him. Okay. So it's Marlon Brando talking. He say, we went into a village and we inoculated all the children in the village and thought we done a good deed. We felt good for a change. And then we went back a couple of days later, and there was a big ass pile of little arms. Every arm that we put a damn shot in, they cut it off. Colonel Kurt told Charlie Sheen, say, look, the horror. If I had a platoon of them kind of men, I'd end this war. To be able to do something. The horror. The only way to get flowers is to make the dispensary business go bankrupt. But the horror is we got to kill our friends' jobs. The horror. Nobody want to hear that. In fact, let me tell you about this research that I'm making talk for my cannabis advocates now. It's the one that everybody loves. There's a whole lot better patents about THC and other cannabinoids, but everybody prey on this 6630507B1 patent assigned to the United States of America as represented by the Department of Health and Human Services. Oh, they cry. Oh, they love it. Half of them don't even know what's wrote in it. So I'm making it where it talks to them. And I'm telling them what's in it. And we start on the first page with the abstract. Because this patent made these fools think CBD was the answer. Because it says on there, we found that non-psychoactive cannabinoids like cannabidiol can work with the N-methyl deaspartate or NMDA receptor, and it can treat a lot of these reactive oxygen species that cause shit like diabetes and other stuff, and it don't have an affinity for the CB1 receptor. Unlike cannabinoids that are psychoactive, they produce a toxicity. Well, I had to object. I let it read on that. I wrote it. And then I put my little insert in there where I'm telling the people, don't let them play that shit. Don't let them say that toxicity shit. You got to know what the word toxicity means. It's defined as capable of causing death, illness, capable of causing death and debilitating, then poisonous, capable of causing death and illnesses. You gonna let them say that about THC? So you can get your damn CBD hemp through. You gonna throw THC marijuana under the bus, you selfish bastards. A lot of my friends are hemp store owners and all that shit, but I mean it. You helping the legislators to throw marijuana under the bus. Now you can't get no flowers. You can't get no CBD flowers because they say it looks too much like the toxic THC flower. You either stand for the whole plant or you're going to lose it all. Every gain that's been made is being taken back. I see states that had THCA flowers. Hell, when I got sent to prison, they had hemp flowers in Hartwell. But, you know, flowers is one thing that big marijuana can't stop small growers from growing. Stop saying big pharma and start thinking big marijuana. Big marijuana got the capability of making capsules and tablets and pills and suppositories and any goddamn thing else they want to make. Because they got money. Well, I'm supposed to sit here because I like y'all as my friends and not say nothing. Then I'll be a hypocrite too. And the legislators and big marijuana win. The Lord didn't bring me this far and help me to kick these judges' ass and corruption's ass so that I bow down from my fight for homegrown. I want every American to have the ability to home grow their own cannabis. You want to grow marijuana? Fine. You want to grow hemp? Fine. But I ain't throwing none of them under the bus. Shit, I grow both. I grow me some cannabis for when I need some serious, and I grow me some hemp when I might need to doctor something a little less serious.
Nathan, you put it all together in a nice little bow. Thank you so much, brother.
It's a hard thing. The horror. I like y'all. I like Lefty. I like all of y'all. I like all the people I got on my Facebook page. I like them all. But the truth is the truth.
We're all your Facebook friends.
Yeah, well.
But Nathan, we're gonna cut it short. We're gonna go back outside for Earth Day, and I want to thank you.
And Earth Day,
I don't know how the weather is down there, but it's nice out here.
Do you remember what it used to be like in California in the 70s? Where they had so much smog, you could actually cut it with a knife. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face sometimes in California. That's where the word smog came from. You remember the word smog?
From LA.
Regulations had to go into place. Regulation Trump done got rid of. Say, fuck that. It's costing money to keep the air clean and the water clean and the earth clean. Sometimes I just want to lay down and die. I ain't lying. I done had a good life. I done did most of the shit everybody in life want to do. Especially me, and I done had more than my fair share of threesomes. God damn, I done had me some good time.
Whoa.
Yeah, buddy. Get with them lady folks and have some fun and shit. If you ain't had a threesome and you done got old, you wasted your life. Shit. I mean, I ain't trying to sound sexist to the lady folk that may view this, if not today, on a different day. But what good of being a man if you ain't supposed to enjoy women? I ain't saying nothing bad about them men that like other men. I mean, hell, I'm happy for you. That means more women for me. I ain't never been mad because a man like another man. I'm like, thank you for your sacrifice. For mine.
There's a good threesome and a bad threesome.
Well,
you want the good threesome.
I want the 2F. I want the M2F.
Yeah, you want the good threesome.
Right. I don't even want to do the one with two men and one woman. I don't want that man rubbed up on me. Don't even touch me. Get away from me, motherfucker. Yeah. If I want something touching me, I want it to be female. Even by accident. I'm just stupid that way. See?
Well, Nathan, thank you so much, brother. That was fun. Thank you for joining us for Earth Day.
Yeah, man. I didn't mean to talk all about myself. I thought we were going to talk about pollution and turtles eating plastic bottle rings and stuff. I know what you're going to talk about. Well, you know, if you set me loose, I'm going to run my mouth.
Good stuff, man. We do have to talk about turtles, and we do have to talk about all those things. So, but we're going to shut down for the day, and we're going to go back outside. Right. And
all right.
So thank you, Nathan, so much. We love you,
brother.
Just
let me know when it's up so I can see how many times my voice went out of the video.
It was good. It was good for 99.9% of the time.
Okay. I felt better about it this time than last time because I wasn't under the effects of so many a big farm of dopes.
Oh my.
Yeah. I still gotta play the game till I don't.
They'll do it.
That's called being a smart end. You play that game until you don't have to no more. Now, as soon as I reverse these charges, I am going back to growing medicine. I don't give a fuck. They better have a good reason to come up in my house. I'm growing me some medicine. In fact, I ain't even had a piss test since I've been on parole. Well, I had one done by the VA. They took the state took that one as theirs. But they ain't asked me. I mean, I'm sitting here waiting on them to come do a random piss test anytime they want to. They ain't gonna catch me with no flowers growing, and they ain't gonna catch me dirty. Because I know they want me. I'm not gonna let the battle end this soon. I'm ready to do what Marlon Brando asked for. I'm ready to commit the horror. And that's it for me.
Nathan, thank you, brother. Let's talk again soon. Happy Earth Day, everybody.
Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day.